where we're starting from. I think over as this runs over the years, we would like to see this reducing. So at the minute that's what they're set at, but as we prove the concept and the scheme's running, if everybody's managing at 4% overall offence rate, then let's challenge that and start tightening up on that, because we don't want people to offend, but we understand that at the minute it's not realistic to say there's 100% compliance.
No, but 4% of missing the occasional break is different from 4% of people who are driving 20 hours non-stop. So
that's right, and that's why the banding shows for that. So your sort of most serious infringements is not even 1%; it's at 0.7.
Oh, I see. So the bands are of different types of offence. Sorry, I thought that was just your level of offending.
No, that's your different types of offence. So it tightens up. So you've got your specific types and then your overall.
Right.
You've also got a measure on most serious infringements that we look at.
Right.
So this is where these are the really horror ones. So if you get any of those, they'll automatically be reported.
Right.
We'll need to obviously look at that and see what went on.
Right.
Because they could be the ones, like you said in your questioning, where there'd be certain offences that we have a legal obligation to report. And, that doesn't change with earn recognition.
Right.
Similarly, if we had an earn recognition operator that decided to fraudulently produce the data, it wouldn't be exit the scheme. It would be exit the scheme and we prosecute you. Because they don't fall out of enforcement, this is just another way of managing them, So we'd hope that wouldn't happen. And it's silly, but
you'd be a pretty risky operator who thought they could chance it by.
And you can imagine I'd be ringing you up, Steve, and saying, Steve, I think you might need to write a report on this.
What does WT stand for?
That's working time.
Right.
So that's again brought together. Now the maintenance is tighter for the operators, and we build a bit of a tolerance on top of this. But when we're looking at sort of compliance for operator licensing, and what really should they do for operator licensing, and we say, well, they should have a complete set of records. And when we say a complete set of records, this is the inspection. So if it's gone in for a safety inspection at the 6 weekly or whatever it is, there should be a corresponding inspection record for that. So if they haven't got one, we will. There is a little bit of wiggle room with this, but if they haven't got one, then it starts to become a problem. Yeah. And the same as, are they done at the correct time? Are they correctly completed? Are they done within the frequency? And then driver defect reports are included into this.
Yeah.
So if a driver reports a safety defect, that they've been appropriately actioned, so the systems will measure that. What it won't do is, for that example, is a driver's reported, let's say, brakes are pulling. That goes into the system, somebody actions that, that's what it's measuring. What it doesn't do is see if that action is appropriate. So the audit, when the audit goes in, one of the audit questions is, check, driver defect reports, have they been appropriately actioned? The other thing, that again, there's a lot of trust around this, because operators, like anything, the truck on a computer system, ABC123 truck, yes, it's having its inspection, it's there. Where's the truck? Oh, it's travelling down there. Well, so, the audit is there to sort of look at the systems to make sure that isn't happening.
So reflect reality, because this is the problem with paper chasers. You can end up, the paperwork's fine, the vehicle's never seen the bloody workshop, but somebody signed it off.
Yeah, so the electronic systems are getting really sophisticated now for this, as they've got like geo-fencing on the vehicles, they know they're in the workshop, so some of the systems are that sophisticated, they're really difficult, but because that's why the audit is covering, KPIs will do so much for us, but the audit will, do that check against it. So if they're saying this vehicle's off the road, which is some of the things they could do to try and, if they want to run extended frequency, and they can say, right, the vehicle's off the road, so it won't trigger a KPI. So what we've asked the auditor to do, if that happens, go and look at vehicle off the road because that'll have to be on the audit trail. So the vehicle off the road, then go and check the tachograph record for that vehicle.
Yes.
See if anything's flags up on that.
Yes.
So there's a cross check. So as much as we can do, we're trying to keep this as robust as we can.
But isn't there a danger of setting it 100% that people are almost going to have to fiddle the system because nothing's ever 100%?
Well, I think with this, because a lot of the systems actually support this, so complete set of safety inspection records. So one of the problems you had in the past was the inspector either filled the form in wrong, and when he filled the form in wrong, he got lost because he left it on his toolbox or it didn't get filed away, so it's on somebody's desk. With the fully electronic system, because it's actually captured there and then, it's inputted onto the record as they're doing it. There's a lot less of that sort of data entry error and missing records because they're all contained as they do them.
But I also know it's almost tempting if the operator knows that a vehicle's going to miss that safety inspection because it's at the other end of the country and he doesn't want to lose earned recognition, he's going to say to Fred, "Oh Christ, we've got 100%. You just fiddle that one, and we'll sort it out next week." But if they were more honest and they go, "Yeah, I'm sorry, mate, we missed that one because the vehicle was broken down in Scotland or something." Yeah,
which is fine. So you don't lose your earned recognition because of a KPI trigger.
Right.
And what they do get on this is a tolerance of 2%.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay.
But if the are missing safety inspections, that'll trigger a KPI potentially. We would then have that conversation with the operator and say, "Look, you've triggered a KPI on your safety inspections. What's happened?" Right. And because you speak to a traffic commissioner, they're expecting those vehicles to be, inspected when they say they're going to be inspected.
Yes.
The records are there that they've been inspected.
Yes.
So we're not sort of really asking for any more than the traffic commissioner is expecting. And this is a scheme that people are supposed to be doing this right.
Yes.
So if we set that at 80%,
yes.
Makes it quite easy for them to comply.
Yes.
But is it really the message we want to? Yeah. And I'm sure the traffic commissioners won't be very happy with me if they did that.
I mean, as I said, there is a massive problem in my mind with electronic systems because we all hear about when drivers are out doing road tests and they're in the transport cafe and they see drivers sitting in the cafe filling out the app for their daily defect walk round.
Yeah.
Now, if that had to take place in the yard and the transport manager was watching Fred do his daily defect report, something has to happen. With electronic systems, you can sit in the cafe and do it.
It's exactly the same with your paper record, isn't it?
Yes.
They could just fill the paper record in wherever they want.
Yeah.
And I think with an electronic system, it gives them a lot more visibility. Some of the systems now, like you say, timing what they're doing. They have checks around the vehicle, but part of again, drawing back to the audit, the operator should have a quality system in place to make sure the drivers are trained, the drivers are checked, they have quality checks on that they do the walk around checks, they check against the maintenance records to make sure that they're not picking up on driver defects. So all this is what we expect the operator to be doing.
Right.
You might have a road operator, a road driver he picks up that's doing that. So what we would expect is that operator finds that out and deals with the driver.
So the auditor's making sure the operator has the systems in place to make sure this is actually a reflection of reality. So
yes,
right, I get it.
And that's why that audit's quite really important for us.
Yes.
But like you say, an operator will get a really crap driver that decides to...
Well, especially agency drivers, and so many people are reliant on agency these days. Yeah. You are very dependent on that agency driver playing by the rules, because even the best operator in the world can't have a pair of eyes on every single agency driver every shift he's driving.
No, and that's why we're expecting them to have these systems to, as much as they can do, but if things go wrong, but hopefully they'll pick that up on their checks. It'll get highlighted when if that vehicle comes in and there's lights not working and things that the driver should have picked up. Bill's put nil return every day this week.
Every day, it happens. You get 20 vehicles, 30 vehicles, nil defects every single day, and you go, well, that logically can't be right, but that's what the paperwork says, so everyone's happy.
Well, that's what we want them to challenge, because the paperwork shouldn't be all right, because eventually there'll be a defect found,
Yes.
and that should then get, well, you know, this is clearly, you know, not been picked up by drivers, and so, you know, it is as, you know, we feel as robust as we can make it with being practically deliverable